Happy holidays, and thanks for joining us here on the Coach's Corner, the show where we get you caught up on the week in Roadrunner sports. We're coming to you live from the Tivoli Tap House, and as always, we encourage you to come down and hang out with us live here every Monday at 5:30. I'm Tafoya, and this is Celeste Zubia. We're the lead anchors on the Roadrunner Review. One of the normal hosts, Stephen Priest, off on an island somewhere, vacationing. Yeah,
nice.
He's enjoying himself, so he's enjoying a well-deserved break, and so we're stepping in. And Celeste, what do we got coming up on the Coach's Corner tonight?
Well, Sean, our MSU Denver's men's basketball team is in a dogfight right now to find a top spot here in the RMAC, so we're going to bring in head coach Derrick Clark, and he's just going to talk to us about how he's preparing the boys after this weekend and then being on the road for the next 2 weeks. And then we also have our women's head coach, Tanya Haave, and she's kind of going to recap what happened this past weekend with her team. And we do not have Raquel Torres with us, but we have junior guard from our women's basketball team, J'Nae Squires-Horton, and she's also just going to give us the players' insight from what happened this past weekend, and kind of she got to play her former team, so that'll be exciting to hear what she has to say about that.
Yeah, Metro taking on Adams State just this weekend, so we'll get her thoughts of her time here at MSU Denver. But before we get to all that, let's recap the basketball games for this last weekend. Well, we'll start with the men's team, and they first took on the 20th ranked Fort Lewis College, and boy, did the red and blue come ready to play. Cameron Williams was unstoppable, scoring 28 points, most of those coming straight at the rim. That man knows how to finish. So while the offense was on point, it was the defense that won the game, holding the Skyhawks to 25 points below their scoring average. But MSU Denver could not make it 3 straight wins as Adams State came into town to take the win. MSU Denver hit a late bucket to pull within 2, but Adams State hit their free throws to secure the 85-81 win. The Roadrunners are now 6-3 on the RMAC season.
And now for the women, they took on Fort Lewis College this past Friday night. Georgia Ordorf was stellar, grabbing rebounds and scoring points, finishing with 14 points and 10 rebounds for the double-double. Roadrunners held a 1-point lead with the 5 minutes left to go, but the Skyhawks offense comes alive late and outscored the home team 17-6 down the stretch. Fort Lewis takes the 69-59 win. But Coach Haave's squad would rebound in a big way, trouncing Adams State by 41 points the next night. Every Roadrunner got into the scoring act, including J'Nae Payne, who matched a season high with 13 points, and Joan Lon Whitwer reached double figures with 10 points. MSU Denver is now 5-4 in conference play.
So now we bring in head coach Derrick Clark for your men's basketball team. Coach, thanks so much for being with us on the show tonight. How was your New Year? How was your holiday?
It was good. Anytime you get a chance to get away and be with family, you know, it was very low-key, which I wouldn't have any other way, but yeah. I really enjoyed being around the family and not having a game plan for games for a few days anyway, so that was really good. Happy New Year's to you guys.
Thank you. Always great to get away.
Take some time off.
Yeah, get your mind off of things, and being with the family is important. So you mentioned the break. When you guys got back to it, you mentioned when we were talking to you after the games that you guys had a great week of practice leading up to this weekend. So what does a great week of practice look like to you?
Well, you know, it was just basketball, because sometimes, you know, when you're dealing with, you know, 17, 18, 19-year-olds, they're moody sometimes. And so everything had to do with basketball. You know, we didn't have any issues where a guy came in moody. Our guys were ready to play. You know, they were ready to get better, you know, and what made it good was, you know, the schemes, you know, for example, for Fort Lewis or Mesa State, they just embellished the schemes, and, you know, it was just very smooth, you know. We didn't have a lot of setbacks.
Mm-hmm.
So in the Fort Lewis game, it was a 3-point game at the half. Then in the second half, you guys exploded to 44 points. What kind of sparked your offense, or what exactly did you tell your guys to get to that 44 points?
Well, I think it was a good half. We didn't have as much of a margin, but we expected it to be a tight game. You're talking about playing a top 20 team. So I didn't think we'd come into the locker room being down 10 or being up 10. It went the way we expected it. Our guys just kept scoring, though. You know, we were consistent. We got, I believe, 80 points, and both of the halves were about the same as far as just scoring. And then we had some guys that were, you know, the Cam Williamses of the world. They started to get loose for layups and stuff. And anytime that you can get 2 stops against Fort Lewis, that's a good stretch of basketball. And then if you score, then you start to get a little bit of a margin, But I just thought we were just very consistent.
You mentioned the high scoring, and you also mentioned Cameron Williams. He had 28 points in that game. 18 of them came in the second half, and he has so much ability to get to the rim and finish. And he seems to give every guy that is guarding him fits. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, it's uncanny because everybody knows he's left-handed dominant, but he's so good that he continues to get to his left hand. People watch film and they know that he's a lefty, but he's so good at getting to his left hand. What I like is he's always in attack mode, though. He's always looking for contact when he drives. He doesn't go in there and, throw up frail shots. He's looking for contact, and so a byproduct of, he's been getting to the free throw line a ton and making his free throws as well, And obviously, at times he had the task of trying to guard Blaylock. They're All-American at the end of the day, who is a heck of a player. So not only does he have to score, there's times where he has to, be the one that's guarding Joshua Blaylock as well.
Do you feel like he excels not only on the defensive side of the ball, but also, or not only the offensive side of the ball, but also the defensive side of the ball?
Excel's a strong word. He's not excelling yet, but he's getting there. He's getting to that point.
Okay.
I just have to try to build consistency with him. But that's the same with our team. It models our team. Just consistency, because right now he'll have a game where I think he arrives defensively and he might take a half step back, which is normal, but it's a process to get him there. When he starts playing on both sides of the ball equally, you're going to see a heck of a player.
So another big storyline for that Fort Lewis game was Bunama Keita and his season-high 14 rebounds. How excited were you to see him play that well consistently throughout that whole game?
That was probably, like you said, the highlight of the game for me because, Dre was in foul trouble and Boo came in and got an opportunity to come into the game. He affected the game immediately with his energy, his rebounding. It seemed like every time we missed a shot, he was getting an offensive rebound, and that was fun to see. He's moving his way up in pecking order in terms of having to earn more minutes by the way he's playing. But he played with tremendous energy, and we need that. For us to be good, we need that other big coming off the bench that's going to give us positive contributions. But Boo was incredible.
And you mentioned, Andre Harris being into foul trouble. Does that kind of give you some sort of relief knowing that you have Bunama Keita when Andre Harris is in trouble?
Because that is a question mark. If Dre's in foul trouble, how's Boo going to play? And I think he had a tremendous week in both games. He followed it up with Adam State playing with that same kind of energy. Because if Dre gets in foul trouble, we have 2 ways to go. We use Bunama at the 5 or we go small. And which you saw us go small at times too. And we actually put Sunday at the 5. On the positive side, offensively, that's a tough lineup when he's at the 5 for most people's 5s to deal with, but it makes me sleep a little easier at night if Boo can continue to play with this energy and have these kind of impacts that he's having.
So talking to you after that game, we asked you if you thought that Fort Lewis win was a statement win, and you confidently said that you guys expected to win that game. Is that really what Roadrunners basketball is about, that no matter the team, no matter the venue, no matter the situation, Roadrunners basketball is about getting that win?
Yeah, because we've done it over a period of time where we've been at the top of the mountain. We're used to people chasing us, you know what I mean? So, like when it's in the reverse and you're playing a top 20 team, we're normally used to being ranked and all that stuff. So I don't think it's a situation where we ever feel like, we're up against it. We always feel like that we have an opportunity to win the game. Granted that we do the work during the week, But, I hope that's what the mentality is, because it's success. That's a byproduct of having success over time is you're confident. It's not an arrogance, but you're confident you're supposed to win games.
And in that same conversation with Coach, you said that the Fort Lewis game didn't really matter if you couldn't win the Adams State game.
Yeah.
So, and Adams State proved that, when you said that there are so many good teams in the RMAC and that there's no easy game in the RMAC.
Yeah, and it came to fruition. I didn't think we were at our best, and I'm not taking anything away from Adams State, but we didn't come out with the same sense of urgency that we had against Fort Lewis, the game as it went on, their confidence grew and grew and grew. We were up 11, and we didn't close those guys out.
Well, Coach, your team is still 6-3 on the RMAC season, still right up there for a top spot in the RMAC. It's tightly contested right now. We wish you the best as you guys head to Pueblo and New Mexico next week, and of course those games on the road as well.
Well, thank you. I appreciate what you guys do. This has been enjoyable for me to do this each and every time.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
All right, so when we come back, we'll have more basketball right here on the Coach's Corner as we bring in women's head coach Tanya Haave to get her thoughts on this weekend's action.
Dobinson stops on a dime, now to Cortez. The Cortez beating, count the bucket, and foul.
If you can't get enough of MSU Denver sports, then you need to tune in to the Roadrunner Review. Get into the game with exclusive highlights, interviews, player stories, and of course the top plays that will have you jumping out of your seat. You can catch all the action on Comcast CET and at roadrunnersathletics.com.
Hey, nice job! Great spot!
I'm Joe Rice. I'm the Director of Government Relations for Lockheed Martin Space Systems. I transferred into MSU Denver while I was in the Colorado National Guard and after I completed my associate's degree. This was the only university where somebody actually sat down with me and helped me plan out my academic path to finish my degree and graduate on time. Reach for the stars, come to MSU Denver, launch your career.
Brought to you by your #1 volume Nissan dealer, Tynan's Nissan. Come in today and choose from nearly 1,200 new Nissans. Get 0% for 72 months with no payments for 90 days. During the Bottom Line event, lease the new Altima for only $149 per month. Gives you both efficiency and performance. Looking for an SUV? Then choose the all-wheel drive Rogue at just $159 per month. Also available with optional third-row seats. Bottom Line savings at Tynan's Nissan in Aurora and Fort Collins.
I'm Raquel Torres, senior guard for the women's basketball team.
Winners, and there's Torres, three-point shot up and
Oh, there it goes.
Raquel Torres, the trifecta.
And you're watching the Coach's Corner. Get rowdy.
I'm Andre Harris, senior center for the Roadrunners men's basketball team.
Here's Andre Harris with the jam, bobbing and weaving through traffic.
And you're watching the Coach's Corner. Get rowdy.
Welcome back here on the Coach's Corner, and we want to remind you to keep up with your basketball teams all season long at roadrunnersathletics.com, and we want to tell you about the first Tivoli Tap House pairing event. It's their She's My Cherry Pie Beer and Cheese pairing that will take place on January 28th from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. And if you pre-purchase your tickets before January 20th, the $30 ticket will be discounted to $20. So be on the lookout for that. Visit TivoliBreweryCO.com for more information on how you can be part of this exciting event. We now welcome in Coach Tanya Haave, the head coach for the women's basketball team. Coach, thanks for joining us today.
Oh, great to be here as always.
Yeah, we're excited to sit down and talk to you about this weekend. We'll start off with that Fort Lewis game. And in this game, your defense did a great job of slowing down a really good Skyhawks team. They only shot 28% from the field in the first half. They were really being saved by the free throws in that first half. So what was working so well defensively for you guys in that first half?
I just think we were really on in terms of being where they needed to be and being there on the catch. You know, just doing what we do defensively. The thing Fort Lewis did a really good job getting to the line, particularly the first quarter. They had 9 of their 12 points were from the free throw line, and they only went to the free throw line 2 times in the second quarter, but got worse in the second half. But I just think we were moving well, anticipating well, good ball pressure, boxing out. I thought we did a really great job in that first half. And Fort Lewis, to their credit, they did some adapting in that second half where they scored a little bit more, but you know, and they got to the line a lot more too.
And you know, Georgia Ordorf is a player that you rely heavily upon, and she even got Offensive Player of the Week in the RMAC, and she kind of struggled in the Mines and CCU series, but ever since then, you know, she came back and she was doing a great job coming out with energy, and I believe in the Fort Lewis game she had 5 points and 7 rebounds in the first half, so she's had quite an impact on your guys' game, especially recently.
Yeah, ever since she's come back from break, she's done a great job, and we're going to have to rely on her quite a bit. With Emily being out, so she's really responded very well to that. You know, she's playing a little bit out of position, but she's rebounding and she's scoring for us, and we're going to be relying on that consistency. Or if she's not doing that, maybe she can get someone else some shots. But thought she did a really great job this weekend, without a doubt.
All right, so in that Fort Lewis game, you guys had a 53-52 lead with about 5 minutes to go, and Fort Lewis, you guys had held in check up to that point, just kind of seemed to figure things out on offense, start hitting their shots. Just give us your thoughts on those last 5 minutes of the game.
I think with our team in the last couple years, and it hasn't happened this year until I thought Friday night, when we struggled a little bit offensively, it tended to affect our defensive effort. And I felt like a couple of missed shots that we had affected us on the defensive end, and that loosened things up for them, our concentration. I'm a big believer that defenses, there are a lot of want to and concentration, and I think we lost our concentration. Again, they kept going to the line. So and we talked about that we haven't let that happen this year. So I think that happened a little bit of our frustration with lack of scoring. And you got to give Fort Lewis credit. They're a great defensive team. They're number one in the conference in terms of field goal percentage defense, but we're number one in terms of points per game defense. So they're a really good defensive team, but I think that's what happened. Yeah.
So the next night you guys took on Adams State, and you guys were hoping to get a win before you head up on the road next weekend. What was the strategy going in to play against the Grizzlies?
It was to get back on track and really just play our game. And you know, it's cliche-ish, I know, staying in the moment ever since Phil Jackson and his Zen and all that stuff. But it is so true. And we had a quote, and mindfulness is another cliche that's out there a lot, but just really staying in the moment and just playing each possession as hard as we could, whether it be offensively or defensively. And like I said, I thought some of our frustration or lack of maybe let's go for it on the offensive end affected us on the defensive end. So just go for it. We have nothing to lose, and we have everything to gain. And I thought our players really responded well. I mean, it was a tough locker room because they were frustrated. We were frustrated as a coaching staff. So, but had a lot of conversations with some players, and I felt like we did a really great job getting back on track against Adams State.
So in that Adams State game, your team forced 19 turnovers in the first half alone, got some easy points in transition, had really good ball movement, great defense leads to great offense. Was your team just really good overall in that game?
I think so. I mean, Adams State isn't as strong as Fort Lewis. I mean, we just got to say what it is. However, you see some of their scores, and they're not losing by 40 points, so that we were able to put that game together on the defensive and offensive end meant a lot for our players, particularly our players. But I was really pleased with that because we very well could have come out, and that was my fear of like, well, we're not going to have Fort Lewis beat you twice if we're disappointed. But came out for 40 minutes. We had a little bit of a lull at the beginning of the second half, called timeout. Everybody got back on track. So we really did a good job, I thought, offensively and defensively.
So every player that stepped on the court during the Grizzlies game scored. How exciting was that, not only for you, but even, as for the players, did you see everything come together?
Oh, again, I thought they were very happy, and especially for Raquel Torres, who has battled for 3 years her knee injuries, and she was able to get in, defend, play for 4 minutes, and she scored, got a couple rebounds. So our team was really happy for her. She was very pleased. So and it's nice to be able to get everybody playing time. And also, you never know with Rocky. She's got great IQ, great experience. Maybe that we can build on that and she can get some more playing time. But anything that can help our depth is going to be a plus for us.
So you mentioned Raquel Torres, and that segues perfectly into our next question. She hit her first ever field goal in this game, hampered, like you said, for injuries for the last 3 years. For you as a coach and the team as well, was it inspirational to see her go out there and knock down that three-pointer?
Oh, absolutely it was. She was so excited because she's coming to me, hey, how can I contribute? She will do anything. She's the best teammate, but she will do anything so she can contribute and try and get on the floor. And her body just hasn't been cooperating, her knees or growing or whatever. But she was so excited walking out of the locker room because the biggest detriment to her playing right now is that her being able to guard someone on the other end. I know she can shoot it, and great IQ offensively. It's like, can you stop someone? And she went out of the locker room just going, I didn't let anybody beat me. I didn't let anybody beat. She was so excited, so it really made my night for that. And I'm hoping that leads to more playing time for her.
Coming up next on the Coach's Corner, we will have junior guard J'Nae Squires-Horton, the three-point specialist, transfer from Adams State. We'll get her thoughts on this weekend, the Fort Lewis game, and also facing her former team. So don't venture too far from your seat here on the Coach's Corner.
I pledge.
I pledge.
I pledge.
To identify situations in which sexual assault may occur.
To recognize that non-consensual sex is sexual assault.
I pledge.
I pledge.
To create an environment in which sexual assault is unacceptable and survivors are supported.
To intervene in situations where consent has not or cannot be given.
Hi, I'm Tyrone Braxton. I won 2 Super Bowl rings and was an all-pro safety. But I wanted to do more with my life. I knew I wanted to help people, and MSU Denver helped me figure out my next steps. As a case manager at the Mental Health Center Denver, I'm helping people re-enter society. And this is so much better than those 2 Super Bowl rings. I reinvented myself at MSU Denver.
If I lose, I'll respond with respect.
If I win, I'll back it up with humility.
If I fail, I'll rise up with honor. It's tough for us to put it all on the line.
Don't undo my hard work with poor sportsmanship.
Respect. It's the name of the game.
I'm Anthony Grant, Director of Athletics at MSU Denver.
It's because of your generosity and support that our athletic programs have been able to achieve sustained success and continue to be one of the top athletic departments in the nation.
And you're watching the Coach's Corner. Get rowdy.
Back again here on the Coach's Corner. Thanks for sticking with us. We mentioned the last couple segments that the basketball teams will head on the road, but that doesn't mean that you can't watch all of their action on the road. Visit roadrunnersathletics.com to find all the video links to all 4 games this weekend, men's and women's, as they head on the road to Pueblo and Las Vegas, New Mexico. And right now we're bringing in junior guard J'Nae Squires-Horton from the women's basketball team. How are you doing tonight?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing excellent. We're excited to have you here on the show. First and foremost, let's get your thoughts on this weekend. You guys had a rough game, or a rough finish, rather, against Fort Lewis. What did you see during that game just as a player?
During that game, I think we just had some defensive breakdowns in the last quarter of the game. So I think that's what it came down to. And they're hitting their free throws when it came down to that. So I think in games like that, we're just going to have to focus more on defense and really push ourselves to not have a letdown like that.
So kind of switching gears to the Adams State game, you guys were able to bounce back after, losing that tough loss to Fort Lewis, and you guys bounced back on to the Adams State the next day. What was the mentality going in terms of like, okay, well, we just lost and we need to really get this win before we go on the road? What was the mentality going into that game?
I think we were just ready to play that day, and we were just excited that we had another opportunity to play. And I think everybody came in with a great attitude, and I know personally for me, it's always fun to play against Adams State. And the team knows that, so we all come out with a lot of energy, and I think everybody had that energy all the way down the bench. So that game was just great for everybody, and it was exciting.
So you mentioned playing against Adams State. This obviously isn't the first time you've gone up against your former team, but does that amp you up a little bit more going up against them, and does that motivate you, or how does that motivate you to have a bigger game that night?
I think it motivated me more last year just because there was a few more girls in the team that I had actually known, but every time I'm going to play against them, it's always going to be exciting and more of an opportunity for me to show the player I am and where I'm at now and how much I love it. And I think that it shows every time we play them, and that was just a great game, and my team always has my back whenever we play them, so it's fun.
So on your bio in the roadrunnerathletics.com website says that you are majoring in journalism. What do you plan to do with that, or are you doing anything now to, kind of just like take your journalism, talents somewhere? Or?
So I actually was majoring in criminal justice last year in my freshman year. So I just switched over to journalism this year, and I've been loving it. So I have a big interest in music, so I hope to incorporate journalism and music together. So that's my hope, and I'm going to hopefully, after college, branch out. I don't have a lot of time right now to do everything I would like to do, but hopefully after I graduate, I can get into everything I would like to.
Awesome.
So what made you want to switch from that criminal justice field into journalism?
I wasn't really sure what I wanted to do with criminal justice. I like, Forensic Files, those shows like that, and I really got into that. So I don't know, I have a big interest in music, so I thought incorporating journalism, music would be a great idea because I love writing about it and see where I could take it.
Could write like reviews and stuff for magazines. That'd be awesome.
Artist, yeah.
Sweet. So kind of switching gears back to the Grizzlies game, we had told Coach Haave that every player that stepped on the court scored that game. How exciting was it for you as a player and as a teammate to see Raquel Torres get some playing time, and make her first field goal?
It's super exciting because Rocky's always our biggest supporter in practice. She always wants to make us better. So to see someone like that get in for their first time in 3 years is awesome. So I was really happy for her, and I think she was happy too.
That's awesome.
All right, so you guys head on to the road this weekend. You guys go to Pueblo, New Mexico Highlands. We've been talking about it. It's kind of been a theme on the show. What do you look for this weekend from these two opponents, especially going up against a very highly touted CSU Pueblo team?
I think we're just going to have to go in there with a positive attitude and know that any team at any given time can win a game. So, don't underestimate a team and don't look at them like, we can't win. So I think that just going in there with confidence and knowing that we can win against any team is going to be the key for us, and focusing on what we're doing.
All right, J'Nae, I think that's going to wrap things up for us here. We appreciate you taking the time out, helping us out on the show tonight, answering a few questions, and it's always a joy to sit down and talk to you, and hopefully you can knock down some more three-pointers this weekend lead this Roadrunners team to victory. So let's take a look at the schedule this week for MSU Denver Athletics. This Wednesday, come on down to Brooklands at noon for the first Roadrunner Luncheon of 2017. It's open to the public, and it only costs $10 to come and hang out with the MSU Denver coaches. Our men's and women's indoor track and field teams will be in action this Saturday in Gunnison. On Friday, our men's and women's team will head south to Pueblo to take on CSU Pueblo. The women's will tip off against a 9th-ranked team in the nation at 5:30, while the men's kick things off at 7:30. Then the following day, Coach Haave and Coach Clark will head to Las Vegas, New Mexico to take on New Mexico Highlands. And remember, you can watch every single minute of Roadrunners basketball on Stretch Internet at roadrunnersathletics.com. We want to thank Coach Clark, Coach Haave, and J'Nae Squires-Horton for being with us here today, giving us all the content on the show. We want to thank you for tuning in to this edition of the Coach's Corner. We hope we filled in a very good manner. So for Sean Tafoya, Celeste Zubia, and of course our fearless leader, Eric Lansing, who does a wonderful job to put everything together. We'll see you next time on the Coach's Corner.
And don't forget, guys, beak to beak.
Beak to beak.